welcome back to Narayana Group of Education Institutions. I'm Deep Jyoti, and this is the episode 4 of chemistry, wherein we are going to discuss the last chapter of grade 10 in chemistry, that is carbon and its compound. Students, this chapter is very important because this chapter lays the foundation for your organic chemistry. What is organic chemistry? It's a branch of chemistry in which we deal about the compounds formed by the carbon. तो भाई इसके लिए हमें कार्बन के बारे में जानना जरूरी है, राइट? सो इन द स्लाइड वी विल जस्ट टेक गिव अ ब्रीफ ऑफ कार्बन. तो भैया कार्बन क्या है? कार्बन इज अ नॉन मेटल, राइट? व्हाट इज इट्स सिंबल? इट्स सिंबल इज C and its atomic number, that is Z, is equals to 6, right? Now talking about the electronic configuration, it has an electronic configuration of 2,4, means 2 electrons in the K shell while 4 electrons in its L shell. तो जब ये लास्ट शेल, दैट इज L shell जो है, right, L shell में this is K and this is L, right? तो जो L shell में it has 4 electrons, what does it indicate? Last shell में 4 electron, means its valency will be 4. Now if carbon has a valency of 4, we need to understand that what will carbon do? Will it form a cation or an anion to form a bond? We'll discuss in class. तो पहले understand करते हैं, ये समझते हैं कि what are the topics that we are going to discuss today. So in today's class we'll be understanding the bonding in carbon कि भैया कार्बन bonds कैसे बना रहा है, cation बन रहा है, anion बन रहा है, या कुछ स्पेशल चीज करने वाला है कार्बन. We'll also understand the versatile nature of carbon कि भाई why do we have a separate branch for carbon, right? Because of its versatile nature. Then we'll see the chemical properties like combustion, oxidation, addition reaction, etc. We'll also see some important carbon compounds like ethanol and ethanoic acid. And finally, we'll be discussing soaps and detergents, right? तो guys, ये सारे 5 टॉपिक्स हैं जिसे आज हम डिटेल में डिस्कस करने वाले हैं. So without wasting any time, let's get started. So let's talk about the bonding in carbon. As I mentioned, that carbon has 4 electrons in its outermost shell, meaning it has a valency of 4. तो भैया कार्बन क्या करेगा? Carbon can do 2 things. Either it will gain 4 electrons, that is plus 4 electrons, or it is going to lose the 4 electrons. Now, have a look here. Carbon, if it has to gain 4 electrons, means इसके न्यूक्लियस में कितने इलेक्ट्रॉन्स हैं? न्यूक्लियस में कितने प्रोटॉन्स हैं? So the nucleus of carbon has how many protons? 6 protons, because atomic number 6 है. Now if it has gained 4 electrons, means total number of electrons कितने हो जाएंगे? 10. प्रोटॉन्स 6 है, इलेक्ट्रॉन्स 10 है, मतलब कि 6 प्रोटॉन्स को 10 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को होल्ड करना पड़ेगा. Will it be possible for the small protons? 6 प्रोटॉन के लिए 10 इलेक्ट्रॉन्स को होल्ड करना, it is difficult, right? So this is not possible. Let's see the another case wherein carbon has to lose 4 electrons. मतलब कि न्यूक्लियस में 6 प्रोटॉन है, राइट? अब बाहर में जितने भी प्रोटॉन हो गए न्यूक्लियस में 6, तो इलेक्ट्रॉन अगर इसे लूज कर रहा है, यानी 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन अगर ये लूज करेगा, यानी इसके पास में मात्र बचेंगे 2 इलेक्ट्रॉन. क्या कभी 6 प्रोटॉन अलाउ करेगा कि भाई तुम हमारे 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन को ले जाओ? नहीं. Means that either to gain or lose 4 electrons, it will be very difficult because both of them are not friendly in terms of energy. Energy allow ही नहीं करेगी, ना तो gain करने के लिए ना तो lose करने के लिए. तो भाई करे क्या? कार्बन बॉन्ड कैसे बनाएगा? तो कार्बन के पास में एक स्पेशल तरीका है जिसको हम बोलते हैं कोवेलेंट बॉन्ड. एक दो, एक लो नहीं, हम लोग दोनों दे रहे हैं अपना, तुम लोग दोनों भी दो अपना, and then we'll share. Ionic bond is all about giving and taking, but covalent bond is all about sharing, right? So what is covalent bond? It's a chemical bond formed by the sharing of the electrons. So what happens? Ki both the atoms, see these two atoms, let's say this is an atom A and this is an atom B. Both wants 2 electrons, but neither A wants to lose it nor B wants to lose it or gain it, right? So what will they do? They'll come together. Ki boss, chalo we have 1 electrons. Right? Let's share each electron. Whenever A will need, it will utilize both the electrons, and whenever B will need, it will utilize both the electrons. तो अब जो इलेक्ट्रॉन्स है वो ना बस मेरा है ना बस इसका है, हम दोनों का है. So there's sharing, right? This is all about the covalent bond, and this covalent bond is very important because this is the bonding that happens in carbon, and carbon can form multiple covalent bonds. So now you know what covalent bond is. Now let's see some of the covalent bonds in different elements, right? Let's start with hydrogen. So hydrogen has an atomic number of 1, right? Means it has 1 proton and 1 electron. So what hydrogen will do? 2 hydrogen atoms. See, whenever we have 2 similar atoms, so whenever we are doing the electron dot structure, what do? We represent the electrons with the same type. Like यहाँ पर hydrogen है, so we are representing it with dot, right? But what if we will have the similar atom? We'll discuss that later, right? Now, hydrogen has 1 electrons each. What do it do? It shares the 2 electrons and forms a single covalent bond. So a chemical bond formed by sharing 1 pair of electron. 1 pair of electron means 2 electrons. So exam में question ऐसे आ सकता है कि चलो बताओ single covalent bond में कितने electrons हैं? 1 pair of electrons means 2 electrons are shared in single covalent bond, right? This is all about hydrogen. Let's see some another example. We have oxygen. So now oxygen has an atomic number of 8, means it has 6 electrons in its outermost shell. So it needs to gain 2 electrons, right? So how it does? 2 oxygen atom, here the 2 electrons are there, right? They'll both combine with each other by sharing the electrons and form a double bond. So a double bond is formed by sharing of 4 electrons, right? There's a double bond, it is formed by sharing of 2 pair or 4 electron, right? Again, examination में question आ सकता है because you will only think, okay, double bond है तो 2 electrons. No, it's 2 pair of electrons. How many electrons are being shared? It's 4, right? Now let's talk about nitrogen. So nitrogen क्या होगा भाई? Nitrogen has 3 electrons. I mean, it will share 3 electrons because it has an atomic number of 7. So 5 electrons in the outermost shell. To complete its octet, it needs 3 electrons extra, right? So 2 nitrogen atoms share 3 electrons of each other and forms triple bond by sharing total 6 electrons, right? One nitrogen shares 3 electrons, the other nitrogen will share 3 electrons, right? So in total, it has 3 pair of electrons shared to form a triple bond, means it has total 6 electrons shared, right? So this was all about the covalent bonding of similar type of atom. What if we have dissimilar atoms like carbon and hydrogen? तो कैसे बनाना है electron dot structure? We have carbon. Let's denote its electrons. It has 4 electrons with dots. We have hydrogen. Let's denote the electrons of hydrogen with cross, right? Right? So each hydrogen is forming. How many electrons does hydrogen need? Hydrogen needs 2 electrons, right? It needs to complete its duplet. But carbon को कितने electrons चाहिए? It needs 8 electrons. What does it need to complete? It needs to complete its octet. तो भैया कार्बन क्या करेगा? See, carbon gains 8 electrons, and this will be the electron dot structure for CH4, right? Now, here, what are the bonds being formed here? अभी देखो यहाँ पे कितने electrons share हो रहे हैं? 1 pair, right? यानी 2 electrons. So this will become what? Single covalent bond. Single covalent bond between carbon and hydrogen. Understood? Now, this is all about bonding. We are done with the bonding in carbon, that we have completed what is covalent bonding. Now, let's understand what is the versatile nature of carbon. So, we are going to start our discussion with occurrence of carbon. कि भाई carbon atmosphere में या nature में how is it existing? So, carbon exists in 2 different ways. One is the free state and the other one is the combined state. In free state, it can exist as diamond, graphite or Buckminster Fullerene, right? While in combined state, it can exist in form of carbon dioxide, in form of limestone, that is carbonate, or in the form of fossil fuel like coal, petroleum, natural gas, etc. So now, these 3 things are quite important. So let's understand about the existence of carbon in its free state, right? So these 3 are called the allotropes of carbon. What are the different allotropes? Allotropes are something that has different physical property. Yani ki physically they'll be very different. But when you ask their chemical property, all their chemical properties will be similar, right? So the allotropes have different physical property while they have similar chemical property, right? Now, let's see the different allotropes of carbon. One is graphite, then we have fullerene, and we have diamond. Now let's have a look at the structure. Ki bhai inside se how they are. So the graphite has a layered structure. hexagonal ring, and each ring is attached, that is each carbon is attached with 1, 2 and 3 different carbon atom, and one of the bond of that particular carbon is line, that is it has a layered structure, layer by layer. ये layer 1 हो गया, ये layer 2 हो गया, ये layer 3 हो गया, and that is the reason why graphite has a potential of conducting electricity, right? And it is very brittle. Now let's talk about diamond. So diamond has a 3-dimensional structure, means one atom is bonded to 1, 2, 3 and 4. That is the reason why diamond is so hard. In fact, diamond is the hardest substance known. अब मुझे बताओ कि in comment section that यार diamond और metal में कौन ज्यादा hard होगा? Is it diamond or any metal? Any metal you can take. ठीक है? Now let's see the structure of fullerene. Fullerene has a hexagonal and a pentagonal structure. अभी ये देखो, ये एक pentagon हुआ and then it has hexagon. ठीक है? Now let's have a quick understanding that how is diamond and graphite different. ये examination में question आता है. Diamond and graphite, एक तो हमने बता दिया कि diamond is hard while graphite is soft. Well, diamond has one carbon atom is bonded to 4, while graphite it has only bonded to 3. अभी देखते हैं लिखा हुआ differences, right? Appearance wise, it's colorless and transparent, and it has a lot of brilliance. Means diamond चमकता बहुत ज़्यादा है. Then we have graphite, which appears in grayish black opaque substance, right? Then diamond, as I mentioned, 4 other neighboring atoms से एक atom linked है carbon का, while here it is linked to only 3 different carbon atoms in case of graphite. Then it has a rigid 3-dimensional structure, while it has a sheet-like layered structure with hexagonal array. Hexagonal array मतलब एक sheet में hexagon, फिर नीचे hexagon, right? Then graphite, diamond doesn't conduct electricity because it has no free electrons, while it conducts electricity because of the presence of free electrons. Now, it's extremely hard and heavy, diamond, and then while graphite is soft and light as compared to diamond, right? Now, let's see some of the uses. So diamond is used as a precious stone in making the jewelry. Then black diamonds are used for cutting the glasses. And then comes the graphite, which is used as electrode. Carbon electrode आप पढ़ोगे, carbon electrode और graphite से जो electrode बन रहा होता है, you'll be studying this in your grade 11th and 12th, ठीक है, in electrochemistry. Then it is used as a lubricant and it is used in lead pencils. So this is electrode, ठीक है, this is a graphite lubricant. Right, and then here we have the lead pencil, जो तो हम लोग बचपन से देखते आ रहे हैं, right? These are the uses. Now let's talk about the fullerene. Again, it's an allotrope of carbon. It has C60, means 60 carbon atoms are present. Because of that, it is called C60. In the shape of a football. And how does a football looks like? See, football also has a hexagon and a pentagon. So that's why. And it was built by US architect Buckminster Fuller. So that is why its name is called fullerene, right? Now, this is all about the allotropes of carbon. Now we are coming to the most important topic, that why is carbon so versatile? One thing that we have read about carbon is that carbon is going to form bonds that is covalent in nature, right? Means by sharing of the electron. So you know what carbon does? Carbon has a unique property called catenation. Means it is actually a self-linking property of an atom to form long chain. बहुत लंबे लंबे चेन बनाते रहते हैं. सी कार्बन नोस कि यार मेरे अंदर में तो दिक्कत है, मेरे पास तो दुख है कि यार ना मैं 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन गेन कर सकता हूँ, ना मैं 4 इलेक्ट्रॉन लूज कर सकता हूँ, तो आई एम सैड. बट देयर आर लॉट ऑफ कार्बन विच आर सैड लाइक मी, राइट? बस कार्बन ऐसा नहीं है कि वो अकेला सैड है, बहुत सारे अदर कार्बन एटम्स भी हैं जो उसकी तरह ही दुखी है, राइट? तो व्हाट कार्बन डज कि भाई चलो सारे कार्बन की महफिल जमाते, सारे कार्बन को बुलाते, एंड देन वी आर गोइंग टू फॉर्म बॉन्ड्स विद ईच अदर. तो अभी क्या हो रहा है? Catenation is the property of an atom. So carbon is connecting with other carbon atom with catenation. So catenation क्या? It's a property of an element to link with one another in a stable covalent bonds to form straight chain, branched or rings. तो अब ये straight भी बना सकता है, branch भी बना सकता है, rings भी बना सकता है. We can have that structures here. Then, but catenation is something that is really amazing. And it's not that only carbon does it. It can be done by silicon, phosphorus, in fact sulfur, but उनमें catenation इतना strong नहीं जितना carbon में है. So what do we understand here? That carbon has a very unique property of catenation. So it is linking with itself. अभी ये देखो, ये एक straight chain बना दिया. How many carbon are there? 5 carbon. अभी यही 5 कार्बन अपने आप को रीअरेंज कर रहे हैं कि भाई ये देखो हम लोग तो ब्रांच चेन भी बन सकते हैं. And then same 5 carbon are rearranging, sorry, here we have 6 carbon. They can also form one cyclic structure. In fact, ये 5 कार्बन साइक्लिक स्ट्रक्चर भी बना सकते हैं साइक्लोपेंटेन करके, राइट? तो बच्चों हम क्या समझ रहे हैं यहाँ पर कि कैटनेशन इज अ वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट प्रॉपर्टी, राइट? सेल्फ लिंकिंग प्रॉपर्टी. कार्बन खुद के साथ कभी 2 कार्बन लिंक हो जा रहे, कभी 3, कभी 4, कभी 5, कभी 10 हजारों कार्बन, राइट? So that is why this is one of the very important reason that why carbon is versatile and it has a different branch of chemistry. कोई और एलिमेंट कर ही नहीं पा रहा है इस तरीके से, राइट? अभी कैटनेशन देखा. अब कार्बन के अंदर एक और खूबी है. कार्बन की वैलेंसी इज 4, मींस इट कैन फॉर्म 4 बॉन्ड्स विथ 4 सिमिलर और डिसिमिलर एटम्स, राइट? तो 4 सिमिलर और डिसिमिलर एटम्स के साथ में कार्बन कैन फॉर्म बॉन्ड एंड इट जनरली फॉर्म्स बॉन्ड विथ अदर मोनोवेलेंट एलिमेंट, राइट? अगर सिंगल बॉन्ड्स बना रहा है कार्बन, तो ये देखो अभी कार्बन इज फॉर्मिंग अ सिंगल बॉन्ड विथ हाइड्रोजन एंड it can be replaced by chlorine. This chlorine can be replaced by fluorine. It can also be replaced by bromine. So what do we see here is that carbon has catenation, खुद के साथ लिंक कर रहा है, ठीक है? Carbon has tetravalency, मतलब 4 सिंगल बॉन्ड्स बना सकता है, right? Also carbon has a tendency to form multiple bond. भाई साहब, it had sona, now this is the suhaga of the sona, यानी सोने पर सुहागा, right? So it has the tendency to form multiple bond. मतलब carbon has actually a very small size. So what it can do, that carbon कभी double bond बना लिया, कभी इन्होंने triple bond बना लिया, like that, right? So it can easily form double and triple bond with itself, with the atoms of other elements. कौन-कौन से एलिमेंट के साथ ये डबल ट्रिपल बॉन्ड बना सकता है? ऑक्सीजन, नाइट्रोजन, सल्फर, एटसेट्रा, जो साइजेस सिमिलर हो, राइट? नाउ तो लेट्स सी हाउ इट इज फॉर्मिंग डबल एंड ट्रिपल बॉन्ड. तो अभी देखो, सबसे पहला कि कार्बन कैन फॉर्म सिंगल बॉन्ड. दिस इज द सिंगल बॉन्ड. डबल बॉन्ड कैसे बना रहा है भाई कार्बन? डबल बॉन्ड बिटवीन 2 कार्बन. ऑल्सो कार्बन विल फॉर्म ट्रिपल बॉन्ड विथ ईच अदर. तो इस तरीके से कार्बन कैन फॉर्म मल्टीपल कॉम्पाउंड और हर एक कॉम्पाउंड अलग होंगे दूसरे से, राइट? तो ये जो 3 चीजें हैं, whenever it is asked what are the versatile nature of carbon, एग्जाम में ये क्वेश्चन आएगा. What you'll write? It has catenation, which is the self-linking property of the carbon with a similar atom. Then it has tetravalency, means it can combine with 4 different atoms at the same time, right? Monovalent atom it has to be, and it has tendency to form multiple bond because of its small size. Small size. Do mention it. So versatile nature of carbon. Now, यार अब कार्बन इतना वर्सटाइल है तो इसने तो बहुत सारे कॉम्पाउंड्स बनाए. अब इस पूरे कॉम्पाउंड्स को हमने बताया कि भाई ये अलग ब्रांच है केमिस्ट्री का, जिसे हम कह रहे हैं ऑर्गेनिक केमिस्ट्री. तो भी देखते हैं कि हमारे लिए क्या क्या ऑर्गेनिक कॉम्पाउंड्स हो सकते हैं, ठीक है? तो ये तो उस ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स को देखने से पहले हमें ये जानना चाहिए कि ये ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड होता क्या है. तो एक्चुअली देयर वाज अ केमिस्ट कॉल्ड वूलर. पहले ऑर्गेनिक कंपाउंड्स का मतलब ऐसा समझा जाता था कि organic compounds are the substances or the compounds that can only be obtained from plants and animals. It can't be made artificially or synthetically in the lab. But then there was a scientist from Germany called Friedrich Wöhler. So what this did, that he extracted urea from ammonium cyanate. Now urea is an organic compound, and while ammonium cyanate is an inorganic compound. So he made urea out of this. As a result, the definition of organic compounds got updated, and now the definition says that all the compounds that contains carbon and hydrogen. Yes, for organic compound, the basic definition is that the compound should contain carbon and hydrogen with some other element, which can be derived from living system, that is plants and animals, and nowadays this can also be synthesized in the lab, right? So this is all about the organic compounds. Now let's see what are the type of organic compound that I was referring to. तो सबसे पहले आ जाते हैं हाइड्रोकार्बन, which are present in our petroleum and natural gases. Then we have haloalkanes. Then we have alcohol. Alcohol तो सबको पता ही होगा. Then we have aldehyde. Aldehyde is used in एक common aldehyde that is used in preservation of the species. तो द लिक्विड दैट इन विच, लाइक आप कभी बायोलैब में जाओगे तो देखोगे कि कोई बहुत ही पुरानी स्पीसीज है एनिमल की या प्लांट की, तो उसको जिस लिक्विड में प्रिजर्व किया जाता है, दैट इज एल्डिहाइड, दैट इज कॉल्ड द फॉर्मल्डिहाइड, right? Then we have ketone, that is commonly used in our nail paint remover. Acetone is there, right? Now, so these are the various types of organic compound that we will be discussing today. Okay? Now, the prime focus will be on hydrocarbon. We'll just give you a brief of the other organic compounds as well. Okay? So we'll start with hydrocarbon. क्या है hydrocarbon? Compounds containing carbon and hydrogen. Organic compounds क्या है? Compounds containing carbon, hydrogen with some other elements. ठीक है? But hydrocarbon, only carbon and hydrogen should be there. Now, here you see, this is carbon and hydrogen. Now, they're forming a bond. ठीक है? So this sort of compound we will be having in hydrocarbon. अब देखते हैं कि कैसे क्या hydrocarbons are classified. So the hydrocarbons are classified as open chain hydrocarbon and we have closed chain or cyclic hydrocarbon. Will not go deep inside this because this will be discussed when you go to the higher class. अभी बताते हैं और open chain hydrocarbon कैसे होगी. We can have saturated and we can have unsaturated. Okay, चलो पहले saturated discuss करते हैं. So saturated compounds ऐसे होते हैं जिसमें carbon atoms are linked with each other only by a single bond. Saturation मतलब S से saturation, S से single bond. कैसे याद रखोगे? S for saturation, S से single bond, right? So saturated compounds are those, मतलब saturated hydrocarbons are those which are linked together, in which the carbon atoms are linked together with single bond. अभी यहाँ पे देखो, example क्या है? Alkane. What do we call saturated hydrocarbons? We call them alkane. Alkane में कैसा रहेगा bond? Carbon carbon का, there's a single bond between two carbon atoms. Then comes unsaturated. Unsaturated मतलब क्या? जिसमें कार्बन कार्बन के बीच multiple bonds आ सकते हैं. What are unsaturated? In which the carbon atoms can have multiple bonds between each other. So if the carbon atoms have two bonds, we call them alkene. That is, carbon-carbon has two bonds. And if the carbon atom has three bonds, we call them alkyne. Right? So this is all about alkane, alkene and alkyne. This is very important, guys. General formula of alkane, alkene and alkyne. चलो डिस्कस करते हैं. यहाँ पर एकदम ध्यान से बैठो. अगर तुम्हें नींद आ रही है या कुछ कर रही है तो वीडियो पॉज करो, चेहरा धो करके आओ एंड देन कम बैक टू द क्लास बिकॉज दिस इज नाउ गेटिंग सीरियस. दिस इज वेरी इंपॉर्टेंट. बच्चे ऑफन कंफ्यूज होते हैं एल्केन, एल्कीन एंड एल्काइन के स्ट्रक्चर्स में, इसके नोमेनक्लेचर में एंड देन फिर गॉन यू लूज योर मार्क्स. तो चलो समझते हैं इसको. तो भी देखो, एल्केन, alkane ends with the word ane, then alkene, ene, and then comes alkyne which ends with yne. तो भाई alkane का क्या है प्रॉपर्टी? इट हैज सिंगल बॉन्ड. क्या है ये? सैचुरेटेड हाइड्रोकार्बन है. alkene, ene means double bond and yne, that is ine, means triple bond, right? Now the general formula of alkane is CnH2n plus 2. अभी वीडियो को पॉज करो और एग्जाम्पल बताओ. इफ द कार्बन, इफ द n इज इक्वल्स टू 4 तो क्या होगा जनरल फॉर्मूला ऑफ, मतलब व्हाट विल बी द फॉर्मूला ऑफ दैट कॉरेस्पॉन्डिंग एल्केन. ठीक है, वीडियो को पॉज करके इसको आंसर दो कमेंट सेक्शन में. नाउ फॉर एल्केन द जनरल फॉर्मूला इज CnH2n plus 2. So if it is 2, so this becomes what? C2H2 times 2 is 4 plus 2 is 6. So this becomes C2H6. ठीक है. For double bond and triple bond, for double bond we have CnH2n, while for triple bond it is CnH2n minus 2. Right? Now, let's have a look at the different homologous series. अभी देखो, what we understand from here is that for alkane the general formula is CH4. What is the general formula? CnH2n plus 2, right? So what are the different alkanes we will be getting? If the carbon is 1, we'll get CH4, that is methane. 2, C2H6, ethane, and similarly we'll get the other alkanes. Similarly for alkene, you know that alkenes can only be formed if carbon has double bond. But अब carbon double bond किसके साथ बनाएगा? We are talking about hydrocarbon, right? Hydrocarbon में तो क्या होगा? या तो कार्बन होंगे और else we should have hydrogen. मतलब कार्बन, हाइड्रोकार्बन मतलब क्या? कार्बन और हाइड्रोजन का कॉम्पाउंड. अब एल्कीन में तो डबल बॉन्ड चाहिए. क्या कार्बन हाइड्रोजन के साथ डबल बॉन्ड बनाएगा? नहीं. So what will carbon do? Carbon will form a double bond only with other carbon atom. Other than there is no alkene with one carbon. Similarly, there is no alkyne with one carbon. So सबसे छोटा alkene क्या? एग्जाम में क्वेश्चन आता है. It is ethene. right? Ethene means 2 carbon, right? And इसका general formula is CnH2n. Alkyne का क्या हो गया? CnH2n minus 2. ठीक है? These are the ethene, ethene, propine. Sorry, this is ethyne, propine, and so on. अब हमने ये देख लिया. अब यहाँ पर एक चीज को ध्यान दो कि we'll see. This is the first member. This is the second member, and so on. Let's see what is the difference in carbon and hydrogen between first and second members. पहले alkane का discuss करते हैं, right? So for alkane, we see here 1 carbon. Here we see 2 carbon. So what is the difference? There's a difference of 1 carbon. Now here we see 4 hydrogen, and here we see 6 hydrogen. कितने hydrogen का difference आया? 2. So there's a difference of CH2 between first and second member of alkane. Alkane के ही second और third member को भी देखते हैं. Here we have 2 carbon, while here we have 3 carbon. Yani there is a difference of 1 carbon. Here we have 6, while here we have 8. Means there is a difference of, again, 2 hydrogen. So what do we see here? That two consecutive members are differing by CH2. This is for alkane. चलो alkene का देखते हैं. ठीक है? Here it is C2H4. Here it is C3H6. C2H4 and C3. How many carbon difference? 1. So we'll write 1 here. C here. चलो, I'm writing it here for alkene. ठीक है? Then here we have 4 hydrogen, while here we have 6 hydrogen. Means what is the difference between hydrogen? It's 2. Again we see it's CH2. Let's think about alkyne as well. Here we have 2, 3 means 1 carbon difference. 2 and 4, again 2 hydrogens difference. What do we see there? That the 2 consecutive members have a difference of CH2, and this is called the homologous series. Means all compounds, all the alkanes that have the difference of CH2, all of them belong to the same homologous series. So we call them as homologous. Similarly, this is one homologous series and this is the other homologous series. Understood? So, what is homologous series? A series of organic compounds having similar structure, similar chemical properties. And why do they have similar structures? Because they have this similar general formula. And they differ by CH2 group. The 2 consecutive members of the family is differing by CH2 group, right? So that is homologous series. Now, we have said enough about homologous series. Now we have talked a lot about hydrocarbons. Ab hydrocarbons mein, as I told you before talking about the organic compound, I told you that organic compounds are the one which has carbon, hydrogen, and some other elements. So these some other elements are arranged in different manner, and they are called functional groups, right? So whenever they get attached to the hydrocarbon, or when they are replacing the hydrogen of the hydrocarbon, they are changing the chemical properties of the compound. So let's understand about the functional group. So functional group is an atom or group of atoms present in a molecule which determines the chemical behavior of the compound. अब जैसे ही इसमें कोई भी जैसे ही किसी compound में, let's say we have alkane that is this is CH3, CH2. चलो यहाँ पर भी CH3. So if this hydrogen is getting replaced by any functional group, what happens that this functional group is now अभी पहले ये क्या था? This was an alkane, ethane, right? Now the moment I replace this hydrogen with this functional group, the entire property of that particular compound is going to change. That's what the power of functional group is. So it's an atom or a group of atom. It can be a single atom or it can be a group, right? So whenever they get attached to a molecule, it changes the entire property. That is, it is changing the entire chemical behavior of that compound. So all the organic compounds have with the same functional group will show similar chemical property. So जिसके पास भी same functional group है वो लोग similar chemical property show करेंगे. Now let's see the different functional group. So now here in this grade we are going to limit our functional group. Will limit our understanding to certain functional group. If we have a heteroatom means carbon or hydrogen के अलावा if we have a different atom, we call it as a heteroatom because it's an atom that is other than atoms that are present in the hydrocarbon. So we have an heteroatom like chlorine or bromine. They give to what? Halo compounds. So what do we call them in general? They are called haloalkane, right? And they are generally taken in the prefix. So what is prefix? We'll discuss when we'll be discussing the nomenclature. Okay? Then if the heteroatom is oxygen, so oxygen ke presence mein we can have alcohol, that is OH. If we have aldehyde, it will be CHO. Then we can have ketone, that is C double bond O, and then we can have carboxylic acid, that is C double OH. If the heteroatom is oxygen, right? So these are the 5 functional groups that we will be discussing today. Now, let's understand that ये सारे functional groups को use कैसे करेंगे, IUPAC nomenclature. So how do you write it? This is the best method. This is the simplest method that you will be understand, that will be making your IUPAC nomenclature very nicely. So what do? That you first write the prefix if there is any. Then you'll write the root word, meth, eth, prop, but, etc. Then you'll write the primary suffix, means you talk about the saturation of the hydrocarbon, means whether it is an alkane, alkene, or alkyne. So since we are in grade 10, so we will be limiting our understanding of nomenclature. We don't need to do very big nomenclature. Here, we will be limiting our understanding with this primary suffix, and then we can have secondary suffix. That is something that the functional group is going to decide, right? Now, yeah. So before that, we should have a look that, okay, what these functional groups are, right? And what are the suffixes of these functional groups? So if we have an alcohol, the suffix goes as OL, ol. If we have an aldehyde, it goes as Al. If we have a ketone, it's on, and if it's a carboxylic acid, it's oic acid. Similarly, there are certain substituents which we take them as a prefix. So fluoro, chloro, bromo, iodo, all these halo compounds. And then if we have R is nothing but methyl. Methyl, if we have this carbon, this is what? CH4. Okay, so methane minus 1 hydrogen gives what? CH3, that is your methyl. Right? This is your methyl, that is your alkyl group. Methyl is again an alkyl group, right? Now, this is all about the functional groups and their suffixes. Now let's come back to the IUPAC nomenclature. Prefix कहाँ पे लग रहा है? Halo and methyl में. Root word, meth, eth, prop, but, etc. Primary suffix, it's only for the saturation, and then we have the secondary suffix if we have a functional group. So we have 2 compounds. Number 1 is CH3, CH2, COOH. How many carbon? 1, 2, 3. 3 carbon means prop. Now, the root word is done. We don't have any prefix. Secondly, now we have primary suffix. We have to talk about the primary suffix. Primary suffix mein, can you see any double or a triple bond between 2 carbon? No. So what will be the primary suffix? An. Do you write proper ANE? No, you only write AN because it is taken as a primary suffix. And then you have COOH. COOH corresponds to oic acid. So this becomes what? Propanoic acid. Right? Now let's have a look at this. How many carbon atoms? 1, 2, 3. Right? Now, this is chlorine. As I mentioned, that chlorine is taken as a prefix. So this becomes what? At what position it is attached to? It is attached at the first carbon. This becomes 1 chloro. How many carbons? 3. So prop. Now, what will be the suffix? Can we see any functional group? What are functional group? Functional group for us, it should be either alcohol, aldehyde, ketone, or carboxylic acid for 10th graders. Right? So can we see any functional groups here? No. We only see a substituent, that is chlorine, which we have already mentioned. There is no functional group. So if there is no functional group, we'll write complete ANE. Right? The E comes. And if in case we have a secondary suffix, that is the functional group, the E drops and the secondary suffix just takes into place. Okay, so this becomes what? 1 chloropropane. Or you can directly write it chloropropane because 1 is not that important. Had this chlorine been in the second position, it would have been very much important. Okay? So you can either write 1 chloropropane or you can just write chloropropane. This is the IUPAC nomenclature, and with this, we are done with the versatile nature of carbon. Now let's see what are the various chemical properties of carbon, right? So the carbon undergoes following reactions. What are they? It undergoes combustion, carbon and all its compounds. It will undergo oxidation, it will undergo addition reaction, and it will also undergo substitution reaction, right? So let's understand what a combustion reaction is. Combustion is nothing but the process of complete burning of a substance in presence of oxygen. Obviously, burning has to take place in presence of oxygen, right? So, combustion is nothing but complete burning of a substance in presence of oxygen with liberation of a lot of heat and light. What is going to be there? There's a lot of heat and light, right? So, what can we say about combustion? It is something that is rapid and a complete oxidation in excess of air. Always remember that combustion only takes place in excess of air. So whenever there is excess of air, it's an oxidation, of course, and it is very rapid because a lot of heat and light are getting generated. So we can see the combustion of hydrocarbon. We can see the combustion of hydrocarbon, that is CH4. CH4 combines with oxygen, forms carbon dioxide, water, lot of heat and light. Similarly, butane, that is LPG. Now, what you see here, that water is in the form of gas. So water is, it's not liquid, it's not water, it's what? Water vapor, right? So butane will react with oxygen to form what? Carbon dioxide, water, heat and light. This is all about the combustion. Let's quickly see what oxidation is. Oxidation, you know that we have already discussed in chemical reactions and equations. Oxidation is nothing but addition of oxygen or removal of hydrogen. So, addition of oxygen, right? In presence of what? Oxidizing agent. KMnO4, K2Cr2O7. These are the common oxidizing agent and a very prominent one. We'll be using this when we'll be discussing ethanol. Now, carbon gives carbon monoxide and carbon dioxide depending upon the amount of oxygen available. So if in case we have excess of oxygen, so the oxygen is present in excess, so carbon compound will undergo complete oxidation, giving rise to carbon dioxide and water. But if the oxygen is limited, it will undergo oxidation, but the oxidation will be incomplete. As a result, we'll get carbon monoxide, right? So that is why it is said that whenever in अभी तो देखो ठंड की सीजन है, तो आप अपने घर में कुछ चूल्हे वूल्हे जला रहे होगे खुद को गर्म रखने के लिए. So what happens that whenever that is forming, like you're burning some coal, what happens? या अंगीठी जला रहे होगे. So what happens whenever you burn that coal? A lot of carbon dioxide will be released. Now, if the oxygen in your room, if you have not opened the windows or the doors, if your oxygen of your ventilation is limited and the supply of oxygen is limited, so what will happen? That all the oxygen will get used up, and due to limited presence of oxygen, there will be a formation of carbon monoxide. So that is why it is advised that जब भी आप लोग सोने जा रहे हो, तो you should like put off all these angitis and whatever the chulha you are burning to keep your home warm, right? Now, let's talk about the addition reaction. Now, addition reaction is quite cool reaction. Here, understand. So the reaction in which unsaturated, what are unsaturated? चलो comment section में बताओ, video pause करो और बताओ comment section में कि भाई unsaturated compounds क्या है. So reaction in which unsaturated hydrocarbons will react with a molecule like hydrogen, halogen, or water to form a saturated compound is called addition reaction. Simple. Now, the reactions in which hydrogen are involved, like the reaction in which, the addition reactions in which happens with hydrogen, they are called the hydrogenation reaction, and this reaction is very important for us. So what is it? The addition of hydrogen to an unsaturated carbon. What is unsaturated? Either alkene or alkyne. To form saturated compound is called hydrogenation reaction. Example देखते हैं. Here we have ethene with a double bond. It reacts with hydrogen. Now, hydrogenation के लिए क्या जरूरी है? Always remember, we need some catalyst like nickel, palladium, or platinum. What are the catalysts we will need? We may need nickel, palladium, Pd, or Pt. Any of these catalysts is required. Okay? For this reaction to happen, that is hydrogenation reaction to happen. Now, similarly, we can have hydrogenation of ethyne. Ethyne has triple bond. It will first form ethene, and then it will form what? Ethane, right? Now, you must have read that this reaction is quite important to form the vegetable ghees, and vegetable ghee is very dangerous. It's very dangerous. Vegetable oil is fine, but vegetable ghee is very dangerous. So the unsaturated hydrocarbons are healthy for us, while the saturated hydrocarbon, except ghee is very healthy. But the saturated hydrocarbon, which is done by this hydrogenation reaction, is very unhealthy, right? Ghee is fine. Ghee is a saturated hydrocarbon, but it's fine. It's quite healthy for us. But in general, unsaturated hydrocarbons are healthier than the saturated hydrocarbons. Now, let's talk about substitution reaction. Substitution means somebody has come to your house, taken your place, and thrown you out, right? So, one or more hydrogen atoms are replaced by some other element, that is called the substitution reaction. For example, if we have methane, what happens? Methane will react with chlorine in presence of sunlight to form what? Chloromethane. And this is a chain reaction. It keeps on going. So first we get chloromethane, then we get dichloro, and then we get trichloro, and then we get tetrachloromethane, right? So this reaction takes place in presence of sunlight. One more tip: if in case you don't have much time to write sunlight in the examination, you can just write H nu. This is the way we represent sunlight, right, in the chemical terms. Now we are done with the chemical properties. Now we are left with the important carbon compounds. So what do we have to understand? For important carbon compound, there are two compounds, that is ethanol and ethanoic acid. So let's quickly have a look at ethanol. So what is ethanol? Ethanol has a formula of C2H5OH. Ethanol, as you hear the word, listen to the word or read the word, it has the ending word OL. Means we are actually talking about the carbon two functional group. One is alcohol. This belongs to which homologous series? It belongs to alcohol, right? Its functional group is OH. Ethyl alcohol is its common name. Homologous series, as I mentioned, it's alcohol, colorless. It has a pleasant smell, not bad red. It is miscible in water, and it doesn't have any action in litmus because it's neutral, and its boiling point is 78 degrees Celsius, right? Now, let's quickly see some of the chemical properties of ethanol. This is very important in your examination. Also, like other carbon compounds, ethanol also undergoes combustion. So what happens? Ethanol is very flammable. It's highly flammable. And that's the reason why in some of the countries, in fact in India also, we have started using ethyl alcohol by mixing it with the petrol, right? So what happens? In combustion, ethanol is highly flammable. So it catches fire completely. So what happens? Ethanol reacts with oxygen to form what? Carbon dioxide, water in the form of vapor, heat and light. Then see the oxidation of ethanol. So ethanol, what happens with ethanol when it gets reacted to with some of the oxidizing agent, like as I mentioned, KMnO4 or K2Cr2O7. Remember I told you that these are the two oxidizing agents. So when we react it with these oxidizing agent by heating them, what happens? That this ethanol gets oxidized to ethanoic acid. So this is actually a method of preparation. This is a method of preparation of what? Ethanoic acid, right? Now, reaction with sodium metal. Now, this ethanol has OH group. What happens? It reacts with sodium to form this, remove this hydrogen, and the sodium takes place here while hydrogen gas is liberated, right? So we get a salt called sodium ethoxide, right? Now, let's talk about dehydration. This is quite important. So dehydration means removal of water molecule. Hydration, dehydration, hydrogenation. So hydrogenation means you're generating hydrogen, you're adding hydrogen. Dehydration, D means removal, right? Dehydration means removal of water. Hydration means water. You always understand this thing. Now what happens? That at 170 degrees Celsius, when we treat ethanol with concentrated sulfuric acid, there's a dehydration happens, as a result of which we get an alkene. What are we getting? Here we had an alcohol, and we are getting an alkene. बच्चों, organic chemistry is very interesting till grade 10th. 11th में आने से ये बहुत ज़्यादा interesting हो जाता है. In fact, what do you know what? 11th and 12th में you will be understanding and you will be asked questions कि भाई how you are going to convert ethanol to ethanoic acid, ethanol to ethene or ethane, etc. So it gets really very interesting. So yes, if in case you want to take science in your 11th and 12th, so you'll be studying more about the organic chemistry and the carbon compound, right? So this is the dehydration reaction of ethanol. Now let's talk about the other important carbon compound, that is ethanoic acid. Now ethanoic acid is again where it is belonging to what? Carboxylic acid. So it has a functional group of COOH. It has 2 carbon, so that's why we have it, right? Now, common name is acetic acid. Now it's colorless, it has a pungent smell, and it is soluble in water. Now since it is an acid, but it's a weak acid, so it turns blue litmus red. And here see I mentioned it's a weak acid and its boiling point is 290 Kelvin. Now let's quickly have a look at the chemical reaction. Now reaction with sodium metal. Okay, it is an acid, right? We have a metal. So this reacts with sodium metal to form sodium ethanoate with the evolution of hydrogen gas. So we get this hydrogen is replaced by sodium, right? So we get sodium ethanoate. This is not ethoxide, this is sodium ethanoate. Okay, this is sodium ethanoate. Now, let's talk about the other reaction that, okay. Now here we have a carboxylic acid that is nothing but an acid. It will react with carbonate and hydrogen carbonate to form salt, and this reaction is formed by this reaction is accompanied by evolution of CO2 gas, right? So here we have the acid, here we have the what sodium carbonate. What is it? Think about it and tell me in the comment section. So the ethanoic acid is reacting with sodium carbonate to form what? Sodium ethanoate, carbon dioxide, and then it will turn the lime water milky. We have read all these things, right, in the previous chapter, and water is formed. Similarly, it reacts with sodium hydrogen carbonate to form again sodium ethanoate, carbon dioxide, and water. Right? Now, let's talk about the reaction with sodium hydroxide. Now, this ethanoic acid is an acid. Now, what is a sodium hydroxide? It's nothing but a base. And what is this? This is nothing but salt, and we get water. So what is this reaction? Acid plus base gives salt and water. What is this reaction? Comment below, right? So this reaction is something that we have already discussed in chemical reactions and equations, metals, non-metals, acid, bases, and salt. All the 3 chapters we have covered this reaction, right? So ethanoic acid will react with sodium hydroxide to form what? Sodium ethanoate and water. Also, you can see that what type of reaction is this. It is written here in the slide as well. So you can comment below that what is this reaction. Now, let's see some other reactions. So it is going to react with alcohol, and this is a quite important reaction because this reaction is all about the esterification. So now ester is also one or the other organic compound. So what is the general formula of ester? It's COOR. Again, R is methyl ethyl group, right? So ethanoic acid, whenever ethanoic acid is an acid and there's an alcohol, whenever both of them combines, we get COOR, right? On mild heating in presence of a small concentrated sulfuric acid, it forms an ester, and ester have a very pleasant smell, right? Pleasant and a fruity smell. So this is ethanoic acid, this is ethyl alcohol, and we get ethyl ethanoate. This is ethyl, and then this is ethanoate, and then we get water. So this is quite a very important reaction. This is esterification. Now, this ester will be reacting with sodium to form something else that we will be discussing under soaps and detergent. So stay tuned till then. Now, we have done the important carbon compounds, and now we are left with soaps and detergent. So let's understand what is a soap and detergent. So basically, there's a definition for soap and detergent. See, the parent thing is detergent. So any substance which has a cleansing action, which can show some cleansing property, which can clean some dirt and oil, is called a detergent, right? Now this detergent can be of 2 types. So this detergent can be soapy and non-soapy. Now the detergents which are soapy to touch are called soaps because they are soapy in nature, while detergents which are non-soapy to touch are called synthetic detergent. But in general terms, we call them detergent. So, soap is actually a part of detergent. So, we can say that this detergent can be soapy and non-soapy, right? It can be soapy and non-soapy. Soapy, if it is soapy, so it is soap. If it is non-soapy, then we call it synthetic detergent or detergent, right? This is the definition of detergent. Now, let's talk about soap. Soaps are the sodium salt or the potassium salt of long chain carboxylic acid which has cleansing property in water. Long chain carboxylic acid are also called fatty acid. So now the soap molecule contains 2 parts. One is the carbon part while one is the ionic part. So one of the part will be loving the water while the other part will love the oil or the dirt. As a result, because of their combination, yeah, pyar for water or the dirt, they will be cleaning the dirt and oil in a very effective way. We'll see how does that cleaning action happen. So soap क्या है भाई? Large non-ionic hydrocarbon part, whatsoever the hydrocarbon chain, that is the carbon part is there. So we call it the tail, ठीक है? And then we have the head. Head में क्या होता है भाई? Ionic group. COO minus Na plus, right? Now, what are the examples of soap? Sodium stearate and sodium palmitate. So, now let's have a look at how the different soaps are getting manufactured. So, soap can be, as I mentioned in the previous section when we were discussing ethanoic acid, I told you that the esters are going to react sodium with sodium. And this sodium is going to come from, the sodium will be coming from the sodium hydroxide. This is not an ester. Yeah, this sodium has to come from sodium hydroxide. So, the ester is going to react with sodium hydroxide and it undergoes a saponification reaction, right? It undergoes a saponification reaction to form soap and glycerol, that is alcohol, right? So what is written here? Soap are prepared from heating animal fat or vegetable oil with a concentrated sodium hydroxide solution, that is caustic soda. When heated, the sodium hydroxide split into two form, that is sodium salt of higher fatty acid, and we get a glycerol. So this is glyceride. Here, this is a glyceride. It reacts with sodium hydroxide to form what? Soap and glycerol. Okay, the alcohol gets separated. So here you see, this is CH2O and then this is the fatty part, right? So what happens that the bonds might break from here. All the CH2 gets OH, 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 and here this O gets attached to one H, sorry, Na. So this becomes what? Negative and this becomes positive, right? Now, the process of making soap by hydrolysis of fat with alkali is called saponification. We are done with the saponification reaction. This is important. This question might come in the examination. What is saponification reaction? Ester plus alkali gives what? Soap and alcohol. That's it. That's what saponification reaction is. Now let's have a look at soap. Bhai, ye soap hota kya hai? As I mentioned that the soap has two parts. It has one part that is the carbon part, that is hydrocarbon part, right? And the other part is the ionic part. So this zigzag line represents that there are lot of carbon. So every dot represents that this is nothing but a carbon. Okay? So this zigzag line, that is the hydrocarbon part, is actually the hydrophobic. Now what do we understand by phobic? Phobia means dar, right? So the tail has a fear from what? What is hydro? Water. So it has a fear from water. So it does not mixes with water. And what doesn't mix with water? Will it interact with oil or dirt? Yes. So it has love. I'm making it love here. For what? Oil or dirt. Right? So it loves oil and dirt. The hydrophobic part. While let's talk about the hydrophilic head. What it does is that it has a lot of affection or love for what? Hydro. What is hydro? Hydro is H2O, that is water. It loves water, right? While it hates the oil and the dirt. So let's see what happens when we use the soap or rub the soap against a dirty cloth. So this is the microscopic view that what happens. So let's say you have a bucket full of water. Now what happens that the soap has a hydrophilic and a hydrophobic end, right? So these are the hydrophilic end, all the round things that you see. So these hydrophilic end, what it will do, it will interact with water, right? So water is all around. So these hydrophilic end is interacting with water. They are interacting with water, right? Now, these tails, what are these tails? These are tails of hydrophobic tail. So what will happen? These hydrophobic tail has a lot of affection towards oil. So what will happen? They'll interact with oil and the ionic part is interacting with water while the hydrophobic part is interacting with the oil. As a result, what happens that here you see that slowly all the interaction happens. They form a missile. What is it? This is a missile. This is a missile and they form a missile and then this get away, right? So all the dirt gets attached, all the dirt is getting attached with what? They are getting attached with the hydrophobic part or the hydrocarbon part. Hydrocarbon is attached with the dirt, while this hydrophilic part or the ionic part is getting attached to the water. This part is not leaving the water while the tail is not leaving the dirt. So what will happen? The tail and the dirt along with the water, all three will go out and the cloth gets clean. Cloth mein kuch nahi bachega and the entire water gets dirty. So this is the cleansing action of soap. Now let's talk about the hard and soft water. So the hardness of softness of water is because of presence of bicarbonates, chlorides, sulfates of calcium and magnesium, right? So water that we generally get from the rain are generally soft water, right? Distilled water, rainwater, they are generally soft. While the water that we obtain from the well or the tube well, they are generally hard water. So what is a hard water? Hard water is something that does not let the soap to produce lather. So if the lather will not be produced, the soap will not be able to clean the dirt properly. So hard water is so the hard water will not allow the soap to do its cleansing action. While soft water will help the soap to do its cleansing action, right? Now, let's talk about detergent. So from here, what do we see? That there's a drawback of using soap, that soap is not much effective in the hard water. So let's see that how is that can be overcome. So here you see that we have detergent. So as I mentioned, that detergents are something that are not soapy in touch, because this is not just detergent, this is a synthetic detergent, right? These are synthetic detergent. Now, they act as a better cleansing agent, and they are the salt of long chain benzene sulfonic acid or alkyl hydrogen sulfate, right? They have long chain of alkyl hydrogen sulfate. So how are detergents better? They can perform their action even in the hard water, and they are synthetically produced, right? They are not like unlike soap. How like the soaps are produced from the animal fat or the vegetable oils obtained from animals and the plants respectively, but the detergents will be done in the synthetic way, that is, it is made in labs, right? So detergent is very effective with the hard water, but will it be biodegradable? No, because it has not been obtained from plants and animals, right? So let's quickly have a look between the differences of soaps and detergent. As I mentioned, soaps are sodium salt of carboxylic acid, while detergents are long chain salts of what? Sodium salt only, but benzene sulfonic acid, right? Or alkyl hydrogen sulfate. The ionic part is COO minus Na plus, while here the ionic part is SO3 minus Na plus, right? They are obtained from plants and animals, while they are prepared in the labs, right? Or they are prepared from the hydrocarbons from coal or petroleum. Now, they are not very efficient under hard water soaps, while they are very efficient. The detergents are very efficient in the hard water. Soap take more time to dissolve in water, yes, while detergents dissolve very quickly. Soaps are biodegradable, while detergents are non-biodegradable. What are the examples of soap? Sodium stearate, sodium palmitate, while detergents are sodium lauryl sulfate, sodium dodecyl benzene sulfonate, etc. So this is all about soaps and detergents, and with this we are at the end of the series. In the coming video, we are going to discuss the previous year questions asked in grade 10. Till then, stay tuned.